Hello. Good afternoon. Oh, thank you. Yeah, let's try that again. Good afternoon. Thank you. Welcome to the Baylor Community Session. My name is Elisa Petty, and I serve within the Department of Wellness here at Baylor University. We are so glad to have you here with us today. At Baylor, everything begins with our mission. We commit to providing you with the community that will challenge you academically, care about you as a person, help you grow as a leader, provide opportunities for you to give back to others, and share lots of opportunities for fun. During this session, we will give you clear information about the support network available to you and your commitment to you as a student, and we'll explore the responsibilities you have as a member of the Baylor community. I would like to introduce you to a few people who are joining me for this conversation about your membership in the Baylor community. Welcome.
Good afternoon. I'm Don Rodman. I serve as the Assistant Chief of Police at Baylor.
Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Laura Johnson, and I'm the Associate Vice President for Equity and Title IX Coordinator here at Baylor. So I work with a team of about 10 staff members. We have people that help offer support and resources, help with investigations, and manage our university's affirmative action and equal opportunity plans.
Hi, I'm Dr. Cheryl Wooten, and I am one of the psychologists that works at the Baylor University Counseling Center. I have the joy of working with our students as they seek to find God's calling for their lives, and I work with a team of approximately 25 full-time individuals who have stellar training and a heart to serve our students.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here today. So before we jump into the Q&A, how about y'all tell the audience a little bit about yourselves? Let's start with where you are originally from, how long you've been at Baylor, and your favorite Baylor tradition.
I'll go ahead and start. So today is my 1-month anniversary at Baylor. Thank you. And I will tell you that I'm going to ask for a rain check, weather appropriate, for the tradition at Baylor. But I will tell you that I have felt so welcomed and just felt so appreciated and loved by the community. And obviously that applause was just a small gesture of that I've been experiencing for this past month. So I know that you'll be experiencing a lot of that as well. But to answer the final question, I do come from Chicago, Illinois, so just outside of Chicago. So I'm thinking maybe that tradition will be my favorite around February.
The weather?
Yes.
Thank you. Dr. Johnson?
So I am coming up on my 3rd year here at Baylor. I'm originally from Quantico, Virginia. But I always say I'm from wherever I am right now. If Quantico was an indication to you, I come from a military family, which means we moved around a lot. So I've been in Virginia on a couple stints, Kansas City, Missouri, Maine, and right before I moved to Texas, I was in Kentucky. But had I realized how wonderful Texas was, I would have hurried up and gotten here a lot sooner. I definitely understand why Texans have so much pride for this state. And my favorite Baylor tradition is probably, or it's definitely Christmas on 5th. It's just that time of year where you have the warm and fuzzies and faculty, staff, students, and their families all get together to just have fun and celebrate the season.
Nice.
I'm originally from the Carolinas, and I am beginning my 10th year here at Baylor University, and my favorite tradition is stepping out. Every spring, our student organizations work together to step out into our community and to serve the people of Waco and the surrounding areas. And I really value and appreciate the energy and enthusiasm they pour into that and the way in which they live out our mission here in our community.
Nice. Thank you. So let's start with Assistant Chief Rodman. How does our university police force differ from one ran by a city?
Sure. So I think it's important to note that we are a city within a city. Baylor University is around 20,000 when you consider the students, staff, and faculty. So our officers are trained in the same way that you will find in any other municipality, state police or sheriff's office. So a lot of our officers actually have experience within those agencies. So in a lot of ways, we are similar. But I think it's important to also note the why. Why do our officers come to Baylor University? And I can tell you it's because there is a mission to serve and also to educate. Being a place of higher education, our officers will play a part of ways to help educate you, not only for your time here at Baylor, but also for your time when you continue on in your journey to go on and complete your mission wherever you may go after Baylor. So our goal is to come alongside you and to help you to understand, one, to be attentive to your surroundings. Again, Baylor's a city within a city, so there are things that you'll need to do to protect yourself and protect your property. So often, just as in a city, there's crimes of opportunity. And so again, we want to make sure that you're securing your property, locking your doors, and again, walking with people. And there's great resources that we've invested in so that you could have that opportunity. One of those is called the Rave Guardian app. It's a great technology that you can use on any smartphone. And what it allows you to do is to have the Baylor police at the touch of a button. And so when you're walking through campus, and if for some reason you don't feel safe, all you have to do is press that button, and you're immediately connected to the Baylor Police Department, and then we can assist you as needed. A second part of that app is that you can use it as a safe walk. So if you choose to walk from one side of the campus to the other, you can let our dispatcher know your starting destination and where you plan to arrive. If for some reason something doesn't happen, you can connect with us immediately. But again, it's a great resource, and we encourage you to walk in groups, but we realize that's not always an opportunity. So again, what makes us unique is not the what, but the why. We are here as we are a very service-oriented police department. You will see us around the buildings, your academic buildings, your residence halls, at events. Again, we are here to come alongside you, and we realize that as much as we want to do it ourselves, we need you. You are part of our community, and just like in any policing area, we need to do it together. So we'd ask that you would download the Guardian app, and then that would be a great resource, and it keeps you connected. And I'll just put a little side note here. Once you disconnect from that app and you end your safe walk, you're done. We have no connection to you. There's no big brother, right? So just know and be confident in that, right? We realize that if you felt that we were having a GPS tracking, there's no way anybody would touch that app. But I can tell you it's been trusted by universities and many businesses across the country.
Thank you for that disclaimer. We truly appreciate the work of BUPD. Excuse me, let's shift to another important area on campus, the Equity, Civil Rights, and Title IX office. Dr. Johnson, what areas are covered by the work of your office?
Thank you. So our office is commonly referred to as the Equity Office. Nobody wants to spill out that whole long title. So we go by the Equity Office, and we have oversight of policies that help the institution maintain an environment where people are respected and valued and treated with dignity, an environment where equal opportunities are promoted, and where behaviors like harassment and discrimination are prohibited. And so we, like I said, we have several policies we have oversight of. The first one I'll mention is the Civil Rights Policy. And that policy prohibits harassment or discrimination on the basis of protected characteristics. And those include things like race, age, ethnicity, military status, things like that. The second policy that we have oversight of is the Sexual and Interpersonal Misconduct Policy. Again, with all the words, right? For short, we call that the SIM or the Title IX policy. And that policy addresses behaviors like sexual assault, sexual harassment, interpersonal violence, and stalking.
What are some other functions of Baylor's Equity Office?
Good question. So we have kind of three functional areas. And the first one is training and prevention, right? So we'll do a whole lot of programs, trainings, educational opportunities, things like that, around all those areas I just discussed. So it might be programs on diversity and inclusion, on understanding what we expect of our community, what to report, where to report, how to intervene, and things like that. Our second branch is more focused on support and resources. So when somebody reports somebody reports on their behalf that they experienced some form of prohibited conduct, our office will make outreach and say, what do we do to try to ensure that this experience does not prohibit you from being successful at Baylor and engaging in everything that we have to offer? How do we walk alongside you? And so those are very customized responses, and so it might be connection to the counseling center or helping communicate with police departments, whether that's Baylor PD or the Waco Police Department, or even just helping to make requests for some academic assistance that you might need and that type of thing. And then the final kind of branch of our office is along resolution means. So when somebody reports having experienced misconduct and says, I want to do something about that, we explain what those options are. So one might be a disciplinary process where we will see if the conduct violated policy, and if so, offer some type of disciplinary consequence as appropriate. The other one might be adaptable resolution. And those are pathways like a restorative justice or mediation or something like that. And then finally, we also offer educational responses as well. So it's very customized. We'll try to work with you to figure out what would be the most meaningful to you to resolve the issue at hand.
Thank you. Dr. Wooten, as Dr. Johnson mentioned, the Counseling Center is an important part of the university's support network in response to sexual assault. Can you tell us more about the resources y'all provide?
Sure. We, excuse me, we do receive referrals from all over campus. It's a joy to work with our partners here, whether that's from the Title IX office or BUPD or the health center. Students are often sent or encouraged to come to us for extra support. So if a student's coming from the Title IX office, then we have an additional layer of support services that we offer them to try to help them deal with the stress of that situation. I'd say any situation that a student's facing that's really stressful, whether that's struggling in a certain class, dealing with a Title IX concern, or anything that they're struggling with making the adjustment to living here on campus and in our community, that we're there to try to help them with that.
Are there any additional services that the Counseling Center provides that you'd like to talk about?
Sure. I think the main thing I'd want the students to know is no matter where you're from, who you are, or what you're struggling with, you're welcome at the Counseling Center, and we want to be there for you and to help you find your path during your time here at Baylor University. If you're trying to find us, it can be kind of challenging, so I've heard, if you haven't seen where the Counseling Center is located. I'm sure everybody knows where the rock climbing wall is and the slick. If you don't, I'm sure you'll see it at some point during orientation. You go up the stairs by the rock climbing wall, you turn right and walk on the second floor past the racquetball courts, and then there's the super secret bat cave entrance to the Counseling Center back there. Everything at the Counseling Center is 100% confidential, so that's why our entrance is somewhat, I'd say, it's kind of hidden away so that students can feel it's confidential that they're going for counseling. We also offer the services of a dietitian, and we have a care team that we work with to help students negotiate some of the concrete obstacles they may face on campus, like dealing with a specific professor that they're having a hard time ironing out a resolution with. We have a support team, and we try to help the students with any concern they're facing.
Thank you. Let's talk more about expectations. Just as Baylor wants to provide resources and support for you as a student, there are certain expectations and responsibilities that you accept when you become a member of this community. Students are responsible for knowing of the general expectations for Baylor students and for abiding by the policies and procedures of Baylor University. Students, you have information in your check-in packets and online that is very important for you to review. Dr. Johnson, while your office is not responsible for overseeing many of these areas, you work closely with the Student Conduct Administration Office that does manage these non-negotiables of student conduct at Baylor. Could you tell us about a few of these?
Sure. And like she said, while we don't have oversight of that, Student Conduct Administration are great campus partners of ours. In fact, they're right next door to us. So we work very closely together. And they have policies that outline our expectations for individuals, for campus groups. There's campus-wide policies, and then policies on academic integrity, right? Lots of policies. And chances are you're not going to be surprised by any of the information you see in those policies. It's all pretty much what you would expect in terms of how to be a decent human being and be kind to one another. But we're not going to spend time going over all of that today, so it's going to be important that you take time to review that before you come to campus so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive in August. That being said, I do want to highlight that one of the things that you'll see as kind of a theme throughout all our policies is that we treat each other with dignity and respect. And so Baylor, the Student Code of Conduct policy, prohibits behaviors like bullying, harassing, or threatening others. And we take that very, very seriously here, and that extends to communication directly between individuals or even online. So those are things to just be aware of in your social media presence as well. Some of those harassing behaviors might cross over into conduct that would be addressed by the Equity Office, and so we'll work together on those matters. But it's important to us that you, as members of the community, feel empowered and know how to intervene and speak up for yourself or others if you see somebody being bullied or harassed. And so you'll see that a lot of our trainings offer training on issues on things like bystander intervention. How do you step in when you see those types of things occurring? And then finally, you probably, I hope, already know that Baylor is an academically rigorous institution. And so we absolutely have policies on what we expect from you academically, right? And that's called our honor code. And that addresses things like plagiarism and other issues of academic integrity. And I'll go ahead and tell you that the number one issue reported to the honor code every year is plagiarism, okay? And hopefully by this point, you all have had many opportunities to write research papers and you know how to cite things accordingly and correctly. But if you have any question at all, the University Writing Center or the Center for Academic Success and Engagement are great resources to help you in that.
Thank you. Assistant Chief Rodman, can you tell us about when the Code of Conduct violations cross over into the authority of BUPD?
Sure. So it's important to know for anyone that's read a job description, there's always that line at the bottom, other duties as assigned, right? So the Student Code of Conduct also has a little asterisk. It's a little bit more spelled out than asterisk, but it basically talks to the point that any criminal code violation can lead to sanctions through the Student Conduct Office. So that's important to note. Where it crosses over with the police department typically involves alcohol, a drug violation, potentially a theft, or maybe some threatening behavior. That's typically what we see. But I think it's important to note that, again, we've got a wonderful student body, and those incidents occur less than 1% of the student body. So again, our job is to support and care for you and to get out in front of those items. But again, it is important to also know that you can be held responsible for that. And an important piece is that when you come to Baylor, you become part of Baylor. Baylor becomes part of you. So when you leave Baylor campus, that doesn't mean that you can't be held responsible for your behavior outside of that. So it is important to note that a criminal code violation on campus and off campus can be treated the same through the Student Code of Conduct. Obviously, that'll be a different criminal matter, but it is important to know that the Conduct Office can still work with you with regards to off-campus behavior.
Dr. Wooten, are there ways the Counseling Center connects with these areas of conduct?
I think the main way is that sometimes when students are facing a conduct violation, that they may come to us seeking support and help. What I hear from our partners across campus is that less than 1% of students deal with something like a minor in consumption charge or conduct violation. And we also have a lot of great resources to help students make good decisions, like, as Elisa previously mentioned, Alcohol EDU is a resource, as well as our dietitian. So like students, as you're learning how to navigate different areas of your life on campus away from home, I think the Counseling Center offers a lot of resources, education, and trying to help you understand how to make the best choices for a healthy lifestyle here in our community.
Awesome. Thank y'all so much for being here. Can we give our panelists a round of applause for being with us? We covered a lot of information today, but we want to make sure that our number one takeaway is this. You are joining an amazing community where safety and support are at the core of how we live together. We are so glad that you will be here with us to show respect and care for yourself and also for other members of the community. This is truly a team effort that involves us doing our part to provide clear expectations and support, and students being informed about those expectations and prepared to take on this new responsibility in your next phase in life. Please take some time to read over the handouts in your packet and explore the Baylor website when you have time. Again, we know we're between you and lunch, so thank you so much for your time. We are so excited to welcome you all back here in August, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your orientation experience. If you have any questions, feel free to come up and chat with us. Take care.